Welcome to my review of the manga series, Crying Freeman. Get it? Because he's crying. Get it? So, for those of you who don't know, Crying Freeman was written by Kazuo Koike, and if you don't know who that is, he wrote the masterpieces we know as Lone Wolf and Cub, Path of the Assassin, all that stuff. He wrote that. However, the illustrator of this series is not Koseki Kojima. It is this other guy named Ryoichi Ikegami. And Koike and Ikegami actually have done other stuff together. This is not their first project. They've done other stuff. I haven't read any of it, but yeah. Basically, this series is about a young man named Yo. His name's Yo, just Y-O, Yo. And Yo is an assassin for a Chinese mafia organization called the 108 Dragons. Okay? So he's an assassin. And every time he kills one of his targets, every time he takes one of them out, okay, he cries. He feels sympathy for his targets. He can't help but feel sorry for them. So that's why he's called the Crying Freeman. Okay? So one day, he's killing one of his targets on top of a building. Okay? And there's this young girl watching him. And she witnesses him killing this guy, one of the targets. And ever since the day that she watches him do that, she kind of develops this, like, fixation on him. And she gets these weird, like, urges, and she fucking, like, wants him to, like, make love to her. It's weird. It's weird. But basically, he becomes the leader of the 108 Dragons, and that's not a spoiler. Don't worry, that's not a spoiler. But he pretty much, he becomes the leader, and the story is just following him leading this organization and fighting off all these other mafia gangs and organizations who are trying to, like, kill him, I guess. And yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. Now, this series is considered a staple in manga culture. It's considered a classic. However, I don't know if this series deserves all the credit that it gets. And I don't mean that it's bad. I just don't think it's that good. Actually, no. I think it's bad. I think it's pretty bad, actually. To me, it just doesn't have any substance. Like, there's nothing to it. It's just like a ride-along series. If you guys know what that is, it's just kind of like fucking, you just flip the pages and you just read what happens, and you're like, oh, okay, this happens, and then this happens, and then, oh, this is cool, yeah, okay. And that's it. Like, there's no like deep underlying themes. There's nothing for you to analyze. It's just fucking watching him kill people, and that's it. There's no emotional connection built with the audience. It's just fucking, it's just, you don't feel anything for Yo. Like, you don't care, if that makes sense. And to me, that's not a good manga series. That's just, like, it's just not good. And this series has a really, like, classic feel to it. If you're into, like, for those of you who are, like, into manga, like, you're really into fucking reading manga and you like the classic stuff, like, from the 70s, the 80s, and 90s, this series really does have a classic feel. Like, it's just very straightforward. There's not much to it. Like I said, there's not really, like, underlying themes and shit. It's just kind of thrown at you, like, this is what's happening, and that's it. And that's pretty much how manga was in, like, the late 80s and 90s and shit. So if you're really, like, into manga and, like, you want to check this series out, this goes out to you. But I mean, people who are, like, into modern manga, you're not gonna like this. Don't read this. You're not gonna like it. I'm telling you right now, it's not for you. Another thing that bothered me is the fact that this series is literally just full of sex. Okay, there's like sex everywhere. Like the first two volumes were not that bad, honestly, but like volumes 3 and 4, those were like just sex everywhere, and it was just fucking, it just throws it at you, like, to the point where it's just, like, uncomfortable to read, and I'm just fucking reading this shit, and I was like, jeez, what the fuck, man? Like, it's so unnecessary. It doesn't contribute to the plot in any way. It's just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm not old enough to get it. Like, because it says 18 and older, so, like, maybe I'm not old enough to understand. But, like, I don't know. I just don't think it has any meaning. And like I said before, I mean, to conclude, I would just kind of, like, reiterate what I said before. If you're really into manga, you're a big manga reader, check it out. Like, you might like it, I don't know, it's just kind of personal preference. But if you're really into manga, you're big on, like, just collecting manga, and you're all into, like, the classics, you know, this is a classic, so check it out. But I mean, if you're, like, into, like, modern anime, modern manga, you're not gonna like this, so don't read this. So yeah, Crying Freeman, Dark Horse reprinted this series in a 5-volume series, and you can buy them all on Amazon if you want to buy them. I don't recommend buying them though, because I don't know if you're gonna like them. So I mean, you can, like, read it online if you really want to read it. But yeah, Crying Freeman. If you want to check out anything from Kazuo Koike, I highly recommend you check out Lone Wolf and Cub. It is amazing. It is perfect. It's just perfect. It's so good. And it's just, you need to read it. If you're, like, a big manga reader. Like, seriously, check out Lone Wolf and Cub. Don't check out this series first. If you've never read one of Kazuo Koike's pieces of work. Read Lone Wolf and Cub, and then you can read this afterwards, once you've read a significant amount of Lone Wolf and Cub. Because Lone Wolf and Cub is just on a completely different planet from this series. Like, holy shit. Okay, it's just so good. Thank you for watching. Peace.